Hello, listener, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Keeping Up Appearances podcast, full of opinion, debate, and football trivia with a hint of nostalgia. I'm Callum Murray, and here with me is
Sean O'Hara,
Bob Gall, and Michael Tosh.
They say not to judge a book by its cover, but we might judge a player by their appearance. Let's get into it.
How's it going?
not too bad, you?
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Are you on like a time limit at all?
Well, I don't know.
No, not.
I've got to go to bed at some point, but apart from that.
Oh, yeah. This will probably send you to sleep, to be fair, so don't worry about it.
No, I've listened to it. I like it. It's good, man. It's a good podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't know whether when Jamie got off, he probably texted you and went, they're a gang of gimps, them.
No, he put me on to it. He told me about it before he'd been on it, saying you should listen because we both love football trivia and that. And then, so I'd listened, and then I listened to his one, and he won the thing, didn't he win the game?
Yeah.
I let him.
There's a bit of pressure there for you.
Yeah, I've got to win the game, man.
Yeah.
That's all I'm here for. Listen, that's all I'm here for. I just need to beat Jamie.
Well, we'll wake you up when we get to that bit then.
Yeah, to be fair, on crisp sessions, it's half. Well, it's about 10% crisps in it, and then like
if that,
footy,
if
just
that,
all footy stuff. Yeah,
we did an episode recently, one of the bonus ones, where the first mention of crisps was the very last sentence of the episode. But we did record the first episode we did was all about our passion for Football Manager, but the audio was shit, so we didn't put it out. Well, we did, but we said the audio shit, so we put it out differently. So we've not really talked about. We did talk about football loads, and then just didn't put it out. But we do talk. That one was really obscure. We realised that we both had a passion for Barnett's 2003-4 squad. We were reeling off players from that, which was the most obscure football conversation I've ever had, I think.
There can't be many people in the country that like share that. And you two met.
You've got Barnett as one of the games today as well, Sean, haven't you?
Yeah. We both played him on Football Manager like in the early 2000s. And it was one of the first time we met that we bonded over it. And I was like, I've got a Barnett shirt, and levered. I got home and took a picture of me in this old Barnett shirt to send.
Right. Should we make a start?
Yep.
It's Carney, what's he going to do? Ronnie! Ronnie! Oh, yes!
So welcome to the first podcast of 2024. We hope you've had a great Christmas and New Year. We've got a special treat for you today. We've got our usual squad, and we have special guest Tom from Dead Men Talking and Crisp Sessions. Tom, how are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm good. How are you?
So we're all good. Glad to have you on. Got a bit of pressure.
I'm glad to be on a nice podcast where we're going to be nice to each other rather than just.
No, I'm not sure about
the game
that.
Gets.
This is a very different demographic to Dead Men Talking. Very different.
Yeah.
Not even allowed to swear.
Oh, really? There's no swearing?
I mean, there is. Bob does it every week.
Well, I guess hold off, but I do kind of ignore.
Yeah. At the start, the two of us are teachers, and we were like, oh, we are like, it's just a bit iffy, you know what I mean? And then as the weeks have gone on, I've just let it slide a bit more.
We save our swearing for the classroom, don't we, Sean?
When I first started doing Dead Men, I was scared of anyone that I knew listening to it. So I didn't put it out on any socials or anything. I didn't tell anyone about it. And now I'm like, listen to it, it's really good. Like now
I'm glad you've said that.
Grandma to listen.
I'm glad you've said that, because these three are exactly where you were. So we've been, I think we're on, this is episode 22.
Yeah, we haven't made a good one yet, though.
We're lucky if we get a retweet off these three. So, right. So let's start as we always do. Again, quite fitting as this segment started when Tom, your podcast co-host, Jamie Hutchinson, came on, and we started our new quiz, Any Given Saturday, where I pick a random game from Premier League past, tell you the score, you've got to tell me who scored. You've got to get there somehow. So we'll start off today with game week 17 from the 08-09 season. So Saturday the 13th of December, and it was Sunderland 4, West Brom 0.
Oof.
I'll tell you now, we've got 3 goal scorers. The first 2 goals were by the same player.
Was one of the scorers someone who scored quite a lot against Everton for maybe Blackburn and Sheffield United? Did he play for them?
I don't know.
Is it John Stead?
Oh, it isn't Johnson. No.
Darren Bent, was he there around then?
I think he will have been there about then, won't he? But no, it wasn't him.
Did one of the Sunderland scorers previously play for Newcastle?
No.
So it's not Michael Chopra.
No.
Was one of them, could have been in the best celebrations M5 the other week? Could he have been a contender for that?
He could have been, yeah.
Is it Kenwyn Jones?
It is Cameron Jones, fair play to you, yeah. He got the first 2.
I was going to say, is he from Trinidad? And I was thinking, I'm actually not sure if he is.
I heard you say that, and I was like, oh, don't ask that question, Tosh. Because I have to tell you right. Yeah, so Cameron Jones got the first 2.
Who was the manager then? Are you allowed to ask that?
You can ask it. I don't know if I know it.
So Ricky Spradger.
I was going to say, I think he finished that season because it was the year Newcastle got relegated and Sunderland stayed up last day. It's whether they'd sacked Keane at that point, which they probably maybe had.
Let me check.
While you're checking that, Sean, did one of the scorers play for Liverpool?
That was going to be my next guess.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Is it
Zenden?
Who's that? Go on, Cal.
Zenden, is it?
Oh, no.
Jibril Cisse.
It was Jubil Cisse, yeah.
God, I don't even remember him playing for Sunderland.
No, I don't remember that.
The manager,
United, they used to have loads of ex-United players, especially when Keane took over.
No, the final goal scorer didn't, no.
No.
But the manager was Spradger, who I've never even heard of. So, fair play to you.
Yeah, he was United's assistant when he played.
He left at the end. I think he kept them up. Scottish, I think. Was the other one a midfielder?
Yep.
This is a wild shout. Is it Carlos Edwards?
It's not, no.
That would have been great stuff, right?
Did he wear the biggest short in football history?
Not David Unsworth.
No. But he took them up like right up here.
I know
Lee
you're
Catamol.
Yeah.
Lee Catamol.
No, it wasn't Lee Catamol, no.
I just thought it was a rare occasion.
He actually wasn't at Sunderland then.
If the question was, did he get sent off? Then the answer would have been Lee Catamol.
Is it centre mid?
Yeah.
Is it gettable?
Is he?
Do you know what? I'm going to give a really obvious clue here. It is for you, Tosh.
God.
Julio Arca.
Is he closely linked to Tosh, is he?
I was going to say,
He's from Argentina.
Argentina.
Oh, no, it's not.
I've got a link with Julio Arca. I interviewed Julio Arca once.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
Sure. He
What was
plays.
that for?
He plays for like it was for Match a Day Kickabout. It's like a kids football show, and he played. He was doing anyway. He was playing for like just like a Sunday league team, and then he just stayed in the northeast after he retired, and then he just played for this Sunday league team. We went and interviewed him about it, and he was like, "Yeah, I just love playing football, and it's around the corner from my house, so I'll just play for these."
Fair enough.
Is he the one? Is he the one that went viral and that on Twitter for that Shearer song?
I was just about to say that video
Was
where
that
he's
him?
in like within all the Sunderland fans. It is, yeah.
Yeah, and he's had
He
interviews
quiets
in
them
the
all
past.
down, doesn't he? He
Yeah,
quiets
but then
them
he
all
says
down.
he said they made him sing, but he didn't know what to sing. And that was the first song that came to his head. And in the interview, he was like, "I actually like Shearer, but too late at that point."
I can't think of why I'd like him, Sean. That's the thing that's confused. Oh, is he? If we were doing a Maroon 5 on fat footballers, would he be in there?
Well, he'd be your pick, Tosh.
They have a sweet left foot as well.
He certainly did.
I could use both sides of the left foot as well. Tosh knows.
Andrew Reid.
Correct. The one and only Andy Reid.
What a baller.
What a player. That
Yeah,
was a good one, that.
yeah. We normally do 2, but what do you reckon? Call it a day there or have another go?
Another one.
Do
I've
the
got to
second.
win.
Okay. I'll give you a slightly trickier one.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Because that one was too easy.
No, I think only purely on more goal scorers. Oh, no, do you know what? Come on, we'll go for this one. Same day, obviously. We got Wigan 3, Blackburn 0.
Was one of the Wigan ones Egyptian?
No.
So I was thinking of, oh,
Were any of them English?
Yep.
Jimmy Bullard.
No. Two of them are English.
Is one of them Austrian?
No.
He only scored. He must have been playing Everton that day.
Yeah.
Bob, if you were thinking of Paul Sharner.
Yeah.
who were they playing,
English.
Sean, did you say? Sorry. Wigan.
Blackburn, but it was
Wigan
3-0,
Blackburn.
so don't worry
I
about
thought we
it.
said 3-2.
Who scored for Blackburn?
I can't think of a question to ask, but is one of them Hugo Rodallega?
No. You just wanted to say his name, didn't you?
I couldn't really think of a clue to ask without guessing his country wrong again and being racist twice.
Colombia, I think.
Did one of them go on to play for United?
Yep.
It's Antonio Valencia.
It is, yeah.
Mm.
Oh, that's good. English. So the other two are English.
Yep.
Can't think of anyone else
Oh, I
English
was
who
going
played
there.
for them.
My other guess was
Is
Sean,
what?
you played with him. Or his son.
I played with him as well.
Right, okay, it's right there. Okay.
Is one of them Ginger?
No.
Hmm.
Is he a midfielder?
One of them is
What's the other one? A defender then or a striker?
striker.
Is he one of them play for Liverpool?
Yep.
Is it Emil Heskey?
It is Emil Heskey.
So going up with a better question for that. I need to give a
Is he
clue
still
here. Sean.
playing?
Not that I know of, no.
Might
No.
have a clue.
Retired. Yeah, I can give you the huge clue.
We got a lesser clue.
No, I don't know enough
Is
about
it? Oh no, it's too early for him.
Well, go on, I'll give you the clue. It's the same clue, but it's in a less obvious wording than what I would have said. So he's played for one of the other 2 teams we've picked today.
Who were they again?
Sunderland, West Brom.
Yeah,
You sure it's not Paul Sharner?
I'm certain it's not Paul Sharner.
Is it Paul
Yeah,
Sharner?
Is it Donovan?
Such a forgettable team, that considering they won the FA Cup.
Yeah, not like Barnett.
Forgettable squad. I was literally there yesterday looking at posters of them winning the FA Cup, and I still can't think of any players that played for it.
This fella was only there for a season, as far as I can tell.
Go on, give us a bigger clue, Sean. Come on.
Okay. So the team that they also played for was Sunderland. They moved from Wigan to Sunderland after the season.
Was that Steve Bruce related, I wonder?
Is it Lee Catamol?
It is Lee Catamol, well done.
Oh, for
Oh, that's right.
I was trying to make it obvious the fact we've already mentioned him today. I even said before,
Oh, you should have
I mean,
mentioned the
Might play for
short.
Wigan.
I went, Lee Catamol wasn't at Sunderland. How would I know that? Unless I was planning on doing it later.
They just knew a lot about Lee Catamol.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
I thought he was like a youth product from Sunderland, no?
No, he's at Borough.
Borough, wasn't he?
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, yeah, okay. Right, yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, right. Well done, anyway. I think you did quite well there.
Good quiz, Sean. We done all right there. It's right.
Yeah.
So we'll move swiftly from there onto, well, the weekend's FA Cup fixtures. Did anyone have any picks of the weekend? Any highlights, do we think?
I've only just calmed down, really, so I don't want to get wound up again.
What's that in relation to, Bob?
More VAR, nonsense and a terrible referee who forgot the name of, but he looks like Matt Hancock. Can't remember who it was, but it was such a bad decision.
You were tweeting about him a lot the other day, Bob, so I'm surprised you've forgotten.
For anyone who's not aware we're talking about, I think he's talking about the Calvert-Lewin sending off, Bob, are we right in saying?
Yeah. Well, we can say the sending off that is no more now, so that's calmed me down slightly, but...
Well, did we send it?
Yeah, today.
Yeah.
Which I'm very surprised by, because I thought they'd just come back with so many people have reviewed it and they've come to that conclusion, so what's another set of eyes on it now, but I suppose some form of justice has been done now. That's only that completely took away from the rest of the football, so I can't remember anything else now.
I don't think anything else happened, to be fair.
Yeah,
I think that's sort of...
He missed the sitter. I would have been happier seeing him sent off for that miss rather than the actual challenge.
Yeah, it was a disgraceful decision, I think, to be fair, right decision. But it's just that thing we spoke about before about how they can come up with that. It's just never in a million years. No one wants to send it off for that in football. Like, there's never
apart from Nathaniel Klein. Yeah. Spot the former Liverpool player rolling around as if he'd been shot.
Right.
It seems so long. Was it like Thursday night, that game?
Yeah.
Wigan last night was Monday night. That's such a long weekend of
ridiculous.
Like the same round.
Yeah.
Something to do with police, and I read, wasn't it? There was so many FA Cup ties in London, they had to spread them out. Apparently that was the reason we were Thursday nights and not, well, potentially a TV thing as well, but there was about 10, 11 FA Cup ties all in London, so they had to spread them out across the different times and the weekends. But yeah, I think
that doesn't make sense, though, because United Wigan wasn't in London. United Wigan was in Wigan.
That was a potential upset, though, wasn't it? They needed that prime time.
Yeah. Just
because that could have easily gone the other way if Fernandez didn't dive anyway.
Yeah, that was a well bad dive. Well, you know what? Sorry, not but, I think people get too angry now at diving. Like, I think it should be celebrated if it's a good one. Because it's so rare now that you see a good dive because of that.
Yeah.
So if you see one, we should appreciate it.
Yeah,
there's another incident from the Everton Palace game, another Eze dive. I think he was booked for it.
You've got to turn everything back to Everton, haven't you, Bob? It's
I've
got to go back to.
I'll shut up. But that's the second time he's been booked for diving against Everton this season.
To be honest, one of them he could have got a penalty for in the league game. I thought one of them was a potential penalty, but
no,
he's a great player though.
Terrible cheaters. Sorry, carry on.
I can't remember up to now.
Can we mention about Patrick Bamford's goal being overrated?
No, great goal to see.
That could be a Marooned 5 of overrated goals.
Absolutely.
What's your logic of that being overrated?
Sean scored one better.
Wrong. Yeah, give me dreams. No, do you know what the thing with me is? I don't like how soft it was. I want volleys like that to just be smashed in. And I don't like it.
Can we throw that on the chest on the angle?
The way he's turned is the best bit. The way he's turned into it.
I think players who are notoriously average scoring goals like that, I don't buy it because
that's a bit elitist of you, that Sean.
No, he couldn't do that. He couldn't do that if you gave him that like 99 more times. He wouldn't do that again.
I think is there not a video of him? Is there not a video of him in training where he does something similar and you see like Bielsa like running after him? And have you not seen that video?
Sounds very convenient. That what Sean just said.
Yeah, no, he does. He does one in training.
That was the 101st one. That
he does one in training under Bielsa. Something similar, I think. There's like a video of it at training ground and Bielsa like running after him, just like so good. I think I can't see how that's overrated. I don't know what more you want him to do.
Yeah,
he took the ball in the air.
He's incredible.
I want him to hit it harder.
I think it's better because he hits it softer. Some of them ones like that.
No, the keeper should have had it. He didn't hit it hard enough.
Correct. If the keeper's a bit further back, he catches that.
But the ones that go harder don't dip as much. It looks better when it like dips.
That nice little dip, yeah.
Afraid you're wrong. I think you're wrong, Sean, and I'm surprised. Yeah. Surprised a sweet left foot like you'd know that sort of thing, really.
I just know how to do it, Tosh, you know what I mean?
How many goes do you reckon it would take you to do one of them? If we were to throw you the ball,
like infinite.
I don't reckon you'd get the chest control going the right way, sure.
Yeah. How many times would I fall over? That's a different question. Yeah, no, I'm like, don't get me wrong. Obviously, I couldn't do it, and it is a good goal. I just think I can't believe the amount of attention it's had on social media. I honestly don't think it's as good as everyone's making out.
It might be because it was him scoring it.
Yeah, and
You
someone
don't
put a tweet
expect
out.
it's unique as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't see many goals, like unique goals like that anymore. Like, I remember, maybe it's just nostalgia, but I think in the 90s, goals were better and like mental. Like, there were just mental goals all the time. But now it feels like every goal has been like drawn on a whiteboard before.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen City score the same goal 100 times. But that Patrick Bamford one, it seemed like every week that would happen in the 90s. And now it's like, that's why.
I think the Bamford one is good as well. It's quite Berbatov-like in that it's done very slowly and it's just so technically good. If you know what I mean, it seems to take so long. When you watch that goal, you see him touch it, you see him turn, you see him hit it, and it happens very quickly, but it doesn't look that quick, which I think
he's not just leathered it. I think it's so more skilled than just leathering a footy.
And he should have.
And he's quite a technical footballer. I think you're doing a bit of a disservice there, Sean. He's not very good, and he's got no bottle. He's a bit of a bottler. That's his level, really. But I think you're doing a massive disservice.
No, he said in the interview, didn't he? Though he went, as soon as I took it down, I noticed that the defender had slipped, so I could have taken it past him. And you're like, no, you couldn't have, could you?
I'm with you now, Sean. Actually, after hearing that,
he's talking it up, and someone tweeted the other day going, "No Tory should ever be scoring a goal like that," and I was like, correct.
That was going to be my next comment.
Yeah,
Callum can't score one like that now.
No. He scored many.
Did anyone watch the Arsenal-Liverpool game? Because my highlight was the absolute 0 out of 10 performance from Kai Havertz. One of the worst performances you'll ever see that.
What was he doing? How did he just mistake after mistake? That's what he needs. He needs to just leather one of them.
I feel sorry for him.
He decided to take an extra touch every time he made a mistake as well. He thought the next time I'll take like an extra touch and just get and by the end he was like being tackled before he'd even got the ball. He was that that was a great game though. And also probably a nod to Maidstone, who I think National League North getting in, got a tie away at Ipswich now as well. It's a good little result for them.
Yeah.
But Havertz there's no way he was worse than Rashford was last night. Rashford was abysmal.
We've said a few times, Rashford, he's been so bad, hasn't he? It's shocking.
I'm a big fan. Last season was brilliant. I'm a big fan of Rashford. I think he's a great player and whatever. But this season he's been so bad. I don't know. A lot of people saying that he doesn't care or whatever. I think he does care, obviously, but he just looks like he's got no confidence at all. Every time he gets the ball, he just gives it away. Like it reminds me of, have you seen Space Jam?
Yeah.
In Space Jam where like the players get all the talent taken away from him and then they just can't even bounce the ball. It's like that. He's like the ball just bounces off him every time it comes to him.
I used to say that about Jelavic when he played for Everton because he went through that run of scoring however many it was. You'll probably know better than me. And then all of a sudden, it was like he'd never kicked a footy before. He was Space Jam.
He was better than Suarez for 6 months.
Yeah, and you're still talking about that now.
Exactly. He was,
and then he wasn't.
Yeah,
he's talking about that as well. He tells all his mates, I was better than him for 6 months.
But he was though.
What do you think it is then with Rashford? Is it just a confidence thing? Because United fans are.
I don't know. There's a lot been made about it because he got a new contract, didn't he? And this happened the last time he got a new contract. Basically, every time he gets a new contract, his form dips, and it's like, is he motivated or whatever? He was getting so much abuse last night from the United fans. He was he was shit, but there was times when he was getting abuse for things that just weren't his fault as well. And I think the fans have properly turned on him now. I think if he got sold, I think 90% of United fans would be happy about it.
Do you know, I've seen Gary Neville and that talking and Roy Keane, and they go through the United squad and go who'd you keep, who'd you sell, and all that. Amongst United fans, which players do you actually like? Because it seems like you hate everyone.
Yeah, well, I was actually thinking
not you specifically,
but last night we were singing loads of songs about old players, Andy Cole's song that I run out and stuff. And I was like, we should sing about the players we've got. And I looked and I was like, we've not really got that many songs about these players because they're all shit. But Mainu, I like Mainu. He's good.
Big fan of him.
Yeah, he looks quality on the ball. I think you should build your team around.
So good. Yeah,
I still like Bruno, even though he's a petulant prick.
I like Bruno.
Garnacho is great. I assume all of the
horrible.
fans must hate him.
Yeah.
But that's what I like about him.
He's got a very punchable face.
In the same category, probably that Martinez who's coming back soon. They reckon, don't they? I like him.
Oh, I love Martinez. Martinez is class. He's
Sounds like you like quite a lot of the team then.
him.
Sounds like you like quite a lot of the team then.
Yeah, I think the problem is a lot of them have been injured. The ones that are and also the ones that are bad are really bad. Martial, how he still plays for United, is insane. He's awful.
To play against Everton.
Honestly, I don't think a Premier League team will come in for Martial at the end of his contract. And if
Fenerbahce, isn't it, at the moment?
Fenerbahce,
yeah.
He just can't run. He either can't run or doesn't want to run. But I've not seen him sprint for 4 years.
Is that a thing though? Like, if you think about where he came in at United, should the people be asking questions about how he's been treated almost by United or dealt with? You know what I mean? Like,
well, there was a thing that apparently he was one of the first. I think, he was one of the first big post Fergie signings. I think maybe Van Gaal signed him, but he was Joel Glazer's favorite player for ages. So that's why he kept getting new contracts, apparently, so the rumor is. But he's just shit. He's just rubbish. He's not had a good season. I don't think he's had. Maybe he had one good season. I think he's got like 16 goals. But apart from that, he struggled to get double figures in every season, which for a centre forward at United is pathetic, really.
And so that season he scored 16. He must have played Everton a few times in that season. That must have been the top that was played in all the competitions.
I think it was the COVID year. I think the pressure just gets because we were really good when there were no fans. All our players that just crumble when there's fans. They were really good like that season, and everyone was like, "Oh, we're back now." And then as soon as there's fans in the stadium, they all just went back to being mad asses.
Okay, then. So moving on, then we're going to look at our Marooned 5 for this week. So with all the Islanders, Jason Kumas, Paul Pogba and co got a little break over Christmas. And we're going to return with a big one this week. And we're going to look at coinciding, with the return of the best TV show for me at the moment, The Traitors. We're going to look at football's biggest traitors. So we've sort of left it a bit open to interpretation on how you want to look at it. I think a few of us will go down the obvious route, but there's a few people maybe thinking a bit outside the box, which we always like. Any volunteers to go first? I don't mind going first. I'll go first. I think mine's quite an obvious one, so I'm going to get in there straight away and set the tone. So I'm going to be going Sol Campbell this week. So I think a very famous one of the first ones that jumped into my head. Obviously, for those who maybe don't know, he was Tottenham captain. Had won, I think, the League Cup once or twice with Tottenham as captain. Had played well over 200 games, I think, and his contract was up in the summer of 2001, and he was kept very quiet. I think I don't actually remember it. I sort of remember it after it happened, but we're doing a bit of reading up on it. I think he was keeping quite coy on where he was going to go. There was lots of clubs interested. One of the best centre halves in the world around that time, and quite surprisingly announced he was going to Arsenal. So obviously very much hated rivals of Tottenham. So not only did he leave to go there, but he also left on a free, which meant that Tottenham got no money for him, which he would have been valued very highly back then. And I think I was good friends with a Tottenham fan at university. And even then, 10, 12 years later, the hatred they have for him and some of the songs they sing, which I don't think you could repeat on this podcast really for him, just sheer hatred. And obviously he went on to be very successful, was an invincible. He did the double with them, played a lot more times for England, etc. But I think just in terms of a move, going from your rivals without really sort of straight to your rivals, without a gap in between and going on a free, that's going to be my pick to be sent to the island.
He said he was signing new contracts as well, didn't he? He was like, he did it in a interview. He was like, I'm staying, I'm signing. And then did like a surprise press conference with Arsenal. Even the press who were there didn't know what it was for. They thought it was something else. It was that much of a shock.
Yeah, I was reading about that. They said, I read somewhere, I don't know if it's true, it was a lot of the press going there thought it was because they were signing Richard Wright.
Yeah.
Which is
must have been a disappointment for them seeing Sol Campbell instead.
I know.
It must have been a disappointment for Richard Wright. He's like, this is my big day. For fuck's sake, just signing for Arsenal.
Yeah, so any other thoughts on Sol? And also just a great character. Big fan of some of his videos. Yeah.
Terrible.
I love that one on Sky Sports News where have you seen that one before the World Cup? In the World Cup, and there's like he was going through the tie between Belgium and Brazil, and he goes, "I think France."
Yeah.
So,
I love how naive he is, mate. He's like he still doesn't see the big deal in going from Tottenham to Arsenal.
No.
He's like, why does everyone care? And he's also really angry that he can't get any manager jobs. He's like, why won't anyone give me a manager job? He walked out of a game halfway through. Do you remember that when he was playing? Was it for Arsenal?
It was. Was it West Ham?
Yeah, he just drove home. Like, you can't be trusted, Sol. Like, he left. I think he was at Notts County as well. Didn't leave halfway through a game, but left them. He left loads of clubs just like in the lurch. Like, no wonder no one wants to have you as the manager.
He did. He went somewhere. Was it someone like Macclesfield? And I think he did a reasonable job. Like he kept them up under like when they were like points deductions or something like that, but in real trouble. But again, I think hasn't seen. He's always just on the telly moaning that he can't get a job. I always get the impression
he resigned from that one, didn't he? I think he resigned. Like
just likes resigning.
He just loves it. Yeah. It wasn't. He was at. I'm sure when Wenger said when he was at Arsenal, and they let him go on a free. I think it was Arsenal. They let him go on a free. Because he said he was moving abroad, and then he went to Portsmouth.
Close, nearly.
Yeah.
Was it Newcastle for a bit?
Yeah, he went to Newcastle. He also went back to Arsenal at one point, didn't he? But he was also he went to Notts County when like remember that mad spell where he got some money and like Sven went and managed them for a bit, and he signed a couple of people, and that lasted like about 3 weeks or something. I think he just went back to Arsenal. So yeah. Bit of a character. I always get the impression he wasn't like the fact that you said, as you said, Tom, about him not really understanding. I always got the impression he wasn't a massive football fan. Like, surely everyone knows, even if you're going to do it, you know what you're doing there, don't you? Like, you're just doing it and say, yeah. You know, at that time, you go into Arsene Wenger's Arsenal, they were a much bigger side. He won trophies. You can live with it. Don't sort of claim there's nothing to it.
Especially as a youth, it came through the academy, didn't it? But
yeah, I think so.
I think that makes it way worse. I feel like if you're a player that's signed for someone and it's a foreign country or whatever, then you go to a rival, you're like, fuck it. You know, if I was playing for Milan and Inter came in for me, I'd be like, yeah, if you're giving me more money, sound, I don't care about Milan. But yeah, if you're coming through the academy, you got to expect way worse. Yeah.
But you see that with like Gallas, because Gallas was at like Chelsea, Tottenham and Arsenal, wasn't he? But like doesn't really get that much hate because no one really cares that much. He's got no...
Yeah.
People aren't invested, are they, in him as a Arsenal player or whatever? So it's just not that big of a deal.
It probably is, as you say, the circumstances, isn't it? He went to Arsenal from Chelsea as a result of Cole going the other way, wasn't it? So like Cole was hated because of the way he'd organised that, whereas Gallas with Chelsea, it was like, well, we were getting Ashley Cole. Whereas as we mentioned, the reasons for Sol Campbell leaving, etc., not as good.
Remember at the time with that move as well, Gallas was like because he wanted to leave, and didn't he threaten to score own goals if they didn't let him leave?
Yeah.
Imagine that. Imagine if they called him, if they called his bluff, and he just turned around the pitch and goes, "Oh, I'm doing it."
I love that
after 3 minutes.
That was every kid's dream, wasn't it? As a kid, like I always used to think when I was little, I go, if I ever played for Liverpool, I'd score loads of own goals. But like, he's a professional footballer, like a fully grown man, and he's still prepared to do it.
There was that one as well. I know we're off tangent here, but that Gallas one against Birmingham, where he sort of like when he got give that penalty away, and he was like kicking the side, and he was like crying on the side of the pitch.
Didn't he just sit down on the pitch as well?
Yeah, and like Wenger had to like drag him off. Just very much off tangent. We don't need to spend too long talking about biggest tantrums. We can do another time maybe. But
hang on, one thing that you cannot forgive Gallas for though.
Wearing number 10 at Arsenal.
Number 10. You can't wear number 10 as a defender.
Yeah,
that's right.
It makes me so angry, man.
Put him on the island.
Yeah, he can go. He can go if Ashley Cole ever needs to come back, if we ever need to swap him. Who do we go next? Bob, what are you thinking?
I'm surprisingly not going for Nick Barmby or Abel Xavier going to Liverpool from Everton. I'm going to go down a different route and go for switching international allegiances, which I think should be banned. There are a couple of candidates that could have gone for, but I think the worst offender of it has been Declan Rice, who has gone from posting up there on Instagram to singing God Save Sausage Fingers. So Declan Rice switching from Ireland to England, terrible treachery involved in that. And he could have had, I suppose he's now had the England team almost built around him in that holding midfield role. But I think Mick McCarthy said the Ireland team would have been built around you. You would have been captain by the age of 20 or whatever. So I think the way he treated Ireland was quite disgraceful, really. Kind of left them hanging for ages while he delayed on his decision. And he'd made a senior appearance for them as well, just not a competitive one. So I think the way he treated the FAI was quite disgraceful, really.
To be fair,
He's
Mick
English, though,
McCarthy
isn't
can't complain because he's English.
As is Declan Rice.
Yeah.
And yeah, but he's qualified to play for Ireland, has played for Ireland through the youth levels, and probably because he thought he was at West Ham, he wasn't going to be good enough for England. Then all of a sudden, he's one of the best players in the league. And
Has he ever explained why he was playing for Ireland? Has he said how he felt? How sure it was a case of he wasn't sure he would play for England?
I think at one stage he did. He has said that he felt both Irish and English, which I can't get my head around, to be honest with you. I don't know really. I just think he's an absolute snide.
Do you know what though? For me, in terms of like traitors, because you were about to say, Bob, he could have had the Ireland team built around him.
Yeah.
It's like, if I'm honest, isn't the biggest flex like in the world. But for me, like, I always think, well, not that I think about it a lot, but I think like a traitor, if they become more successful by making that move, I look a bit more lightly on it.
Yeah, it's
So,
justified, isn't it? It's justified.
Yeah, exactly. He made the right choice.
In a way, yeah, but he's gone from glorifying the IRA to singing God Save Sausage Fingers, which I think's a really strange.
Does he keep saying sausage fingers?
Yeah, he does.
He's not know the words.
That's going against his allegiance, isn't it?
Maybe that's a slight affinity for Ireland coming through by
maybe
saying
that's a little wink and a nod to the Irish, just like I'm still yours. Don't worry about it.
No, I can't stand them.
I'm with Bob a bit, to be fair, but to sort of defend that Ireland team of Jack Charltons in the 90s, they were just playing a lot of English people, weren't they? There's like so many stories of like Tony. You think it's Tony
Cascarino wasn't even eligible; he just played for the sake of it.
Yeah, he just like apparently just sent something in that didn't even make sense, and he still managed to play in like World Cup. So I think there is an element of maybe it's gone quite a lot the other way, but yeah, I think it just seems mad that you can play 3 or 4 games and then just decide you don't want to play. It's like seems something from like the 50s or something where you get these players who move to a country and are able to play for a different one. I don't know. It just seems bad.
I was listening to a podcast with Jason McAteer the other day, and the reason he chose Ireland is because he heard that they were always on the piss every time they got together. He just
racist.
Yeah, he said it sounded like it was more of a laugh than playing for England. So, and he said and he was absolutely justified again. He said his first training session, he got there and he said, "Oh, they're all in the pub down the road," and he went there and he just had a big party. He said it was class.
I think he was similar to Rice in that he could have had the England or the Ireland teams built around him as well, Jason McAteer, I think.
Yeah, that right wing spot in the 90s was quite poor, wasn't it?
I was about to bring up McAteer because I think I listened to the same podcast. Was it Quickly Kevin by any chance?
Yeah.
Well, talking about that, Tosh, he said on it, I think Jack Charlton rang him one day and was like, "Have you got any Irish in your family?" And he went, "I don't think so." And he went, "Okay, fill this in," and he made up like a nan and said she was from like somewhere in Ireland, and then that passed. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that's just like
is that the opposite of Stephen Ireland, who just kept on killing his nan so he didn't have to play for Ireland?
Must be an Irish thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Maybe I'll change your mind, Stephen Ireland, for actually swerving his own country and his own name.
And his nans.
family traitor.
I'm sticking with Declan Rice.
How was that? You only kept swerving them because he did. The 13-year-old Declan Rice had been promised to build a team around him in the middle.
I'd seen Jason McAteer once in a shop. I was only a kid. I was with my stepdad. And my stepdad went up to Jason McAteer and he went, "Oh, I've got a poster of you in my wall." And McAteer was like, "Oh, have you? Yeah, nice one." And he went, "Yeah, it's when you're on your knees crying when Cantona scored in the cup final."
He gets a bad rep, McAteer, but I think he seems all right.
No, you look.
I don't like him.
I think he seems all right, mate.
I like
Who's
He came
he
across
supposed
on
to
that
be?
podcast.
Who's he supposed to be having a fight with?
Michael Owen,
Roy
wasn't it?
Keane.
I think it is Roy Keane.
No,
Yeah,
he always tries to reignite that feud with Keane. Tell Keane's just not bothered, and every like couple of months, McAteer will be on like with Richie Keys and Andy Gray saying, if you want to sort it out face to face, I don't mind. Like Keane's just like, nah. It's just I don't like McAteer.
Roy Keane would absolutely murder him as well, wouldn't he? So.
Well, he famously elbowed him, didn't he? And that he got him. McAteer claims he got him sent off. Right. Didn't spend much time talking about Declan Rice. So far on the island, McAteer and Gallas are the two contenders so far.
No, Stephen Ireland.
Stephen Ireland and Gallas. Callum, what are you thinking?
I'm going to go with, Sean might think more likely on this one, but maybe not. I've gone with a trait that probably has affected, in fact, it's affected all of us. 4 of us would have been very disappointed, 1 of us maybe not. I'm going with Wayne Rooney, obviously leaving Everton to join United at the time. If we're obviously being realistic, it was a move he was going to make and had to make him go to a big club. But I think the age we were at, then it just like killed us. He was like such like an idol for us. And we sort of idolized him and loved him. And then to go to Man United in the way he did and obviously have that whole thing of kissing the badges and stuff. As you said before, going through the youth setup and being like one of our own, which always hurts more. For him then to go to Man United like he did, I think that just felt like such like a traitor to us. And that was probably like the one of our generation as we were growing up, one that affected us the most. I know Bob obviously mentioned like Nicky Barnby before, and obviously like how like Abel Xavier as well going to Liverpool and stuff. But I don't think that one like touched us as much. But that Rooney one, I think just like would have broken our hearts almost at the time. Our loss was another man's gain for you, Tom. But I mean, obviously it was like an amazing move for him. I think obviously he came back, didn't he? And I think possibly when that happens, I think they know what they've done and they want to go back and try and make amends for it. And I think that's kind of the only reason Rooney came back, really. I think he just wanted to make amends with the club and possibly open a few doors for the future for himself. But yeah, as a traitor, I think that was, yeah.
I think he'd kind of made amends even before he came back anyway, to be honest. Or maybe he was just, because he'd grown up a little bit, he was less of an arse.
I think he was probably just always trying to open the door for maybe post-playing career, wasn't he, maybe, and just to come back one day to manage or something and just maybe put that to bed. But yeah, at the time, like it was just a horrible feeling, wasn't it? Like, yeah. I had like a poster like in my room kind of thing, as you were saying, and just like tore that down. It was like,
was that off McAteer?
Yeah. Like so gutted. And to me, that was just like he was a traitor. I know there's lots of other good ones that we said, obviously Sol Campbell and stuff. Like I don't know if anyone's going to mention Figo, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, in terms of like a personal one that actually affected us, I think Rooney was the one I had to go for.
I'd agree with you like 20 years ago, but him speaking about that move since and why he had to move, it was like he was pushed out, wasn't he? And they wanted to sell him to Chelsea, but he said, no, I want to pick Querigo.
I know what Cam's saying though. At the time, it was like, wasn't it? That's the one. That is the one that would have. We were all obviously we're all the same age. I think, yeah, like the likes
at the time, it cried my eyes out, but I think it's lower down on the list now. I'd say.
Were you there?
You've got to say it's justified as well.
Oh yeah. Oh no, 100%. Yeah, he had to make that move. But when how old were we at the time? Probably 10, 11.
Possibly. 2004, wasn't it? So yeah, 11.
Yeah, 11ish. Yeah, just like. You don't really think of that, of like what's he doing to better his career. It just like ripped your heart out kind of thing, didn't it? But
Probably relevant to him. He scored the goal that took United past Liverpool, didn't he, in league titles and things like that. And there was always that thing of like for
that one at
ourselves,
Anfield,
when we were not very good, the fact that he's denying Liverpool winning leagues and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Were you there that the first time he came back, which was the FA Cup that night at Goodison when he came?
Yeah.
So it was the same season when we beat United with Ferguson scored to get us the Champions League. I don't think Rooney played that night, but the first night in the Cup, I think it was maybe fourth round. It was a Saturday night, and the abuse and like the like I've never seen anything like that in terms of what he was getting that night. It was just because he famously Ferguson a lot of the time didn't used to play him at either Anfield or Goodison. He always used Ferguson actually said that like he didn't trust him there because his head, like he kissed the badge a couple of times, didn't he, at Goodison?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think kissing the badge is like
rubbing salt in the wound
thing to do, isn't it? Like that's not great. But like on the other hand, like it's a bit like he probably didn't mean it the way he done it, and can you blame him for the abuse he was getting? It's just to wind people up, wasn't it? But still to do that, like to kiss another badge, I think is like that's something that.
Do you know for me though, like I think or maybe we view it differently because we were kids at the time, and it was like it was everything at the time, wasn't it? But like I remember even then when I was 11, 12, I remember thinking about like all the Everton Dars who were like writing Traitor on the side of Goodison. I remember thinking like, get a life. Like
you didn't think that at 11.
I genuinely reckon I did.
No, you didn't.
I genuinely do. I don't think I wasn't crying like you, Bob. I was out there like in the pub with my dad going, these losers, you know what I mean? Like I just thought they just needed to get I don't know. And then again, these like 40-year-old man screaming at an 18-year-old, booing him and calling him all. So I'm just like,
oh no, I'm a fan of that.
Oh no. I don't know. I just always thought that one it's hard because we were kids, and it was like
you sound like you weren't asked.
No, I was at the start when he was going because he was like one of us, wasn't he? Because he was a kid, and then when it happens and he scores a hat-trick on his debut, you go, yeah, fair play.
Bet you £1 million you didn't.
Well, there's no way of proving it, so you're just gonna have to take me word for it.
Oh, not give me £1 million.
I remember at the time, so obviously a United fan. And there was a few people as well. What was I, like 17 at the time? I was like, I don't want a Scouser playing for United. Probably shouldn't be saying that in this podcast. But at the time, I was like, I don't want a Scouser playing for United. And then, and going to the ground being like, are we going to cheer for a Scouser here? And then after he scored that hat-trick, the whole ground was like, yeah. But then when it all, because it all turned sour towards the end, and a lot of United fans were really against him because he turned back towards the end. And again, people accused him of not trying and stuff. And I think that being a Scouser sort of counted against him in a lot of ways. Like, as he's one of United's greatest ever players, but I think it did count against him for some proper mank people who like never really properly accepted him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Did he try and go to City at one stage as well?
Yeah, that was bad. Yeah, and because we weren't. Well, to be fair, he was right because we just sold Ronaldo and we replaced him with Michael Owen and Obertan. So I think he was, and then he went to Fergie, didn't he? He was demanding that we sign better players, and he was right because we were signing bad ones.
I think it's a good point, though, and that probably adds to the whole Traitor feel like he went to Manchester, and it was a team like we already hated, like sort of the whole like Scousers v Manx kind of thing. That was like I think that just added to it. That you've sort of been a traitor on Everton, but also like on Liverpool kind of thing to go and be a Mank or whatever you'd say. So yeah, I think if he was to go to another club, I don't think it would have felt as much as of a traitor. Obviously, I know you said Bobby kind of explained it, but if he had gone to Chelsea or Arsenal or something, I don't think it would have felt as like treacherous. I don't think. I think it.
I definitely hate.
There was a few kind of factors that merged, I think.
No, I definitely hate Chelsea more than United.
Fair enough.
Bet you £1 million you don't.
I'm also willing to put £1 million on them.
Well, me and Tosh have always been big fans of United, haven't we, Sean?
That's true, actually. Yeah. So yeah, I'm with Bob on this one. I would rather see United win than Chelsea win. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I suppose from a practical level, like it's really obviously it's a treacherous thing to do to go to your local rivals. But as a footballer, from a practical level,
yeah,
it's a lot easier to go
to
neighbouring because then you don't have to move. Your family's settled and stuff. You don't have to buy a new house, so
you still see Tony Hibbert regularly as well. So
exactly, yeah.
That's all we want.
Correct. Go on then with that good Rooney discussion there. Tom, do you want to go next?
Yeah. So I've come with mine from a bit of a different angle. Let me get my thing up. I've gone for Michel Platini. Now, there was a really obvious reason why I went for it first, but then when I did a bit of research, I realised there's loads of examples of him being a traitor and just a bit of a prick, really. So he was on his literally on his Wikipedia page. There's a bit about how he's a prankster, and it says on away trips he would set off firecrackers in public places and then pretend to be dead, inevitably drawing a crowd. While in Argentina for the World Cup, he would squeeze tubes of toothpaste into his teammates' beds. So already, he's dickhead.
Good lad.
Yeah, he's a prankster, and not even good pranks either. He's just putting toothpaste in. That's not even funny. It's just annoying. So he started his career at Nancy, and he was good. But then he left on a free transfer to Saint Etienne, even though his dad was a long-time director at Nancy. So straight away, he's a traitor to his club and his family. Already, got no morals at all. Then he let his contract run down again to go to Juve for no fee. He's money grabbing. I'm not going to say it because he's not allowed to swear. But he had a good career. Now, when he retired, as already been mentioned, he's one of the few players that played for another country. So he obviously had a great career for France, but then he came back for one game for Kuwait, which, I mean, it's pretty obvious why he played for Kuwait. And this was while he was the actual manager of France. So he retired as a player and then became the manager, straight away as well. Only 3 months later, he became the manager, which suggests to me that he was probably a traitor to the old manager and grassed him up for something so he could get the job. Then he played for Kuwait for a lot of money. Well, then the real reason why he's the worst traitor ever. So let me get this up. So after becoming president of UEFA, he was banned from football activities in 2015 for 8 years for corruption for receiving millions of euros of illegal payments. He was also involved in the 2015 Greek match fixing scandal. In 2016, he was named in the Panama Papers. He was also questioned about corruption regarding the hosting of Qatar 2022. And he's admitted that the 1998 World Cup draw was fixed, that France and Brazil couldn't play each other until the final. This man is a traitor to the whole of football. And that is why he's the biggest traitor in football.
Bet that toothpaste prank was good, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it was mint.
Hey.
Quite a good case you put forward there, to be fair.
Yeah,
I did not know the thing about
he's the worst man in football.
I did not
Did
know
you not hear the bit about Declan Rice?
He also scored the winner against Liverpool in the European Cup final, which adds to his favour. So, yeah. So he gets some bonus points there.
Great, man. Are we going to mention the other football legend who loved a bribe, or
Mr. Blatter, or
no?
Probably.
Brands.
Allardyce.
Kaiser? Or is
Oh,
it too soon?
yeah, too soon. We'll mention him next. We've got plenty of time. Yeah, Platini's a great shout, I think, in that regard. I didn't know all them little things. Obviously knew he went from club to club, but yeah.
I didn't, to be fair. I was only going to say about the thing about him being, the president of UEFA. It was just did a bit of research on him. I was like, wow, people should have seen this coming.
Questionable character.
I suppose at the time he was similar to what you say, justifying the means. I think Saint Etienne were the big team in France around that time, and then obviously going to Juve, Italy was sort of the powerhouse, and then becoming one of the best players for one of the best teams, and but all the stuff UEFA a bit dodgy there. Not sure what can you say legally. Has he been done? We're not going to get in trouble, are we? Sure.
No one's listening, so
Say what you like.
He was on Epstein's Island.
If this gets back to him, Sean, tell him I praised him for scoring the winner in '85.
yeah. If he DMs me, that's fine.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good shout. Go on, we'll wrap it up, Sean.
Very strong
Choose yourself.
case. Okay, so mine's actually got a couple of links to previously mentioned ones, in particular Callum's. So I was originally thinking of Figo. One, because I think it's probably the most obvious case, but also I recently watched a documentary on Netflix about it, and I thought the whole thing was really interesting. And based on that, I don't necessarily think he's the traitor people make him out to be. If you watch a documentary and you take it for what it is, it appears that it was a lot of agency things going on behind the scenes. So I wouldn't necessarily put that down to him.
It's a very pro Figo bit of propaganda, though, isn't it?
That's
So
what I mean. Yeah. So it's how you take it.
yeah,
But
I took it as it wasn't as bad, but he was still a snide,
yeah,
and he deserved a pig's head thrown at him.
yeah, that was
So
weird.
that's
That was iconic. Yeah.
just funny.
So on the other side of things, then I've decided to go for somebody that also transferred from, not directly at least, but has once played at a Merseyside club and then went on to a Manchester club. Only not to the same extent as Rooney. In fact, probably the opposite of Rooney. I've gone for Michael Owen, who was previously mentioned by Tom, in that he was brought in after Cristiano Ronaldo, going to be the saviour. And the reason I think he's a traitor is not because he made that transfer, because obviously in between Liverpool and United, he was at Real Madrid and Newcastle. The reason I think he's a traitor is because every club he's ever been at since he's left them, all he's done is slagged every single one of them off. And he's made out every single move in his career is not his fault. Like every interview seems to have, it's like a BT or something. It's Michael Owen talking about how every time he was desperate to return to Liverpool, but then something came up, as if for 1 minute, if you're telling me if it hadn't gone swimmingly at United, he'd talk about it like he does now. If he'd won loads at United and was a hero, he wouldn't be slagging him off like he does now. And I just wish he'd have a bit of, just back himself a little bit and go, yeah, oh, of course I go to Man United. It's not like he's not like a massive Liverpool legend in the same respect as like Gerrard and any of them. So I don't think that move is as bad as people make out anyway, to be fair. But I just wish he'd back himself a little bit and go, yeah, I went to Real Madrid, went to Newcastle when they had a bit of money, went to Man United, boss. But
Went to Stoke.
well, yeah, I was going to mention that, but I don't know. I just think all he does, he's gone from, if you think where he was in 2001 as the best player in the world. Here we are 23 years later, and he's just a big moan and joke. That's all he is.
Good to throwing apples. Though.
Oh, yeah, he's the best at that.
I think he's one of the
Brave
most
apple thrower.
unlikable people in British history.
Yeah.
He's worse than
If you
Thatcher.
think of his achievements, right? Winning the Ballon d'Or, how many English people have done that? There's him and Charlton. I think they're the only ones, right?
Stanley Matthews, I think, as well.
Oh, maybe Stanley. Okay. So he had an amazing career. He's brilliant at Liverpool, scored one of the best goals for England, played for Real Madrid, played for Man United, played for all these big clubs. Every fan of all the clubs that he played for hates him. England fans hate him. Everyone who watches BT Sport now hates him because he's so annoying. So how can you've gone from such achievements and talent to such loathing? That's very unlikable there.
Yeah, no, I just think he just seems to have been so bitter, and he views his whole career since he left Liverpool in such a negative way. And I think he should be. If that was me, obviously, he must be bitter based on how good he could have been, almost. But like, he got to play with the Galacticos. Like, I can't believe he doesn't look back on that fondly or talk about it fondly.
Was he on goal?
He was on goal 2, I
Goal
think.
2.
Which
why would you complain about anything if you're being on goal 2?
I know, playing with Gavin Harris.
Exactly.
I think there's an element, isn't there? I think Carragher talks about it where he says about that sort of him and Owen retired on the same day, and like Carragher's going off to the whole of Anfield with like murals and things like that.
There's another
700 times for Liverpool, and then he's retired. I think he retired at Stoke just playing someone rubbish with absolutely nothing. And I think that there probably is an element of Owen where his bitterness. And you said, like, Sean, he's not really he's not really a legend, but he was not far away from being one. You think he was scoring 20 goals a season at 18 for like 4 or 5 years in a row. It's like he could have been unbelievable.
But it is all his own fault.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. No,
yeah.
But again, it's
the worst act of treachery from him was going to Real Madrid for next to nothing, because he was probably worth like 30-40 million at the time, and he'd run his contract down to maybe a year.
How many footballers in the world would turn down Real Madrid, though?
But it was a snide thing to do for your so-called boyhood club.
I think, as Tom says, right, he just every interview you see him, he just comes across as someone like, even that one that we talked about, the Apple one, it's like he always, everything he talks about is if like that same attitude of like, he's throwing an apple in the bin sound like that was because I was so good. Yeah. And I always think like, I just don't know why someone isn't saying to him, "Oh, Michael, just come on, mate." And like
They know he's comedy gold. Like they genuinely know he's so clippable. Every
Yeah.
chap will think, "I'll get him on. He'll say something mad, and then we'll get loads
It's
of
not
views."
even. It's not even mad though. Just so boring. It's hilarious,
It's
isn't it?
so funny, yeah.
But again, like his mates, he's like big mates with Carragher, and you think, no, Carragher, I always think comes across as like dead sound or like a good laugh, and you think, I just can't see them two, like, you know, Owen, like the things he says and like the seriousness he takes everything.
Maybe Carragher bullies him.
He does, almost certainly.
I reckon Carragher just used to, because he used to room together, didn't he? I reckon Carragher probably used to just listen to him, just chat on all night, and then go to the other lads and go, "Hey, guess what he was saying last night?"
I've got a potentially libelous anecdote about Michael Owen, but it's not my podcast, so I don't care. So my mate,
these three don't either.
Yeah, my mate with BT Sport.
Yeah, we bottled it. Couldn't put the story in. Sorry.
As if she's gonna go. Oh no, please don't. Okay, I'll have sex with you. Please don't go to
a We'll take the libel, Sean. We'll take the libel case.
Yeah, definitely.
It's worth it. Clip that.
Yeah, we might get some views
Michael
that.
Owen in it.
Yeah.
Clip that, but put Callum's head on it so it looks like he's saying it.
I think the title of the clip is libelous clip about Michael Owen.
He'll still spin that in a good way, though, wouldn't he?
Yeah. He was brave enough to do it.
Yeah.
His dad was in the corner, not.
Yeah, just give him like a wink.
Well, Neville Southall's a very good judge of character, isn't he? So.
Yeah, he was there as well. He went, Wendell, well done, Michael. She's 13. Now it is libelous.
Unlucky, Cal.
Yeah, you've gone too far again there, Callum. All right, then, what a way to finish. So, just to conclude, the 5 people, God, it seems like ages since we started to remember them. So, we've got Traitors, Declan Rice, Sol Campbell, Wayne Rooney, Michael Owen, and Michel Platini. So, if you get over to X and put your vote in, we'll see who's cast away to the island next week. Right, Sean, have we got our 3 games?
Well, we said guest picks. That was what the rule we made a couple of weeks ago, but it's up to Tom. Do you want to pick the 3 games, Tom?
I'll just go United Spurs. Can I go with that?
Yeah, that can be one of them. But then
I've got to pick 3.
Yeah.
United Spurs. Well, I'll just do big ones. United Spurs, Everton Villa, Newcastle City.
Right. Sorry. So could you just read them out again, just so I...
Yeah, United Spurs.
Yeah.
Everton Villa.
Yeah.
And Newcastle Man City.
And it wasn't our first ever episode, Everton Villa. It was, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, second.
Yeah. It was the first one that got aired. All right. Perfect. So we've got all 3 of our games. Let's spin the wheel and see which one is our focus game this week. And it is Newcastle City.
Fix.
How can I be a fix?
Just like accusing you, Sean.
It's there, Bob, if you want to see it. Yeah. Now, I reckon we just do brief chat about it because, like, footy, I can't remember, Premier League. How long ago was that?
Even just go straight to the game, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not overly fussed about chatting about it. Unless you are, Tom. Have you got any big opinions on those 2 teams? Well, you have a big opinion on City.
Both cheats. Treble shouldn't count. That's all I've got to say about City.
Yeah, fair enough.
Both funded through blood money.
Yeah.
Not much else to say, really. Anthony Gordon's a snake as well, isn't he?
No, he isn't.
He is.
Great guy.
Did you see them taking the photo on the pitch after Saturday Newcastle as well? Did you see that?
But do you know what?
A gang of helmets.
I half think they're just like playing along with the joke now, especially that, what's his name? That
Tyndall.
Tyndall. He knows what he's doing. Him.
I know, but
He's like-
he's still a bellend.
Did you see that
no,
video?
I-
Did you see that
I
video before
respect it.
Christmas in the hospital?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Hopefully, it's not your last Christmas. Wait, why did you say that?
They sing that about him, though, don't they?
Right, okay.
That's their song
Wow.
for him for some reason about, like, I think it's basically Last Christmas, and then they go, this year to save me from tears, I gave it to Jason Tyndall.
Why would you sing
Celtic
that about
used to
your
sing that.
assistant manager?
Celtic used to sing that for Brendan Rodgers, didn't he?
Yeah.
The first
But-
time around.
Tyndall's the main man. Everyone knows it. He knows it. He's
I
just
love
giving
them
the gra-
videos where you see, like, like he rushes to shake the other manager's hand before Eddie Howe does. And like,
I love it, me.
I bet
Oh,
Eddie Howe
terrible.
hates him, but he just can't now get rid.
Yeah.
Like too much of like a power move, isn't it? Like sort of like.
And then if it all goes wrong as well, imagine Newcastle bombed. It'll all be everyone will go, he was the brains behind it. And it's just giving him more of a like a character.
This photo is missing a cheeky smile here.
Yeah, right in the middle. Right, so I'll get our number ready then. As always, our parameters are 50 and 450. Our target number today for the Newcastle Man City game is 87.
Is that a no current region, do you think?
Didn't we say under 100's no current?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. And it was under 100, wasn't it? 87.
87, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't checking if 87 was under 100. I was just checking I heard it.
Worrying question for a maths teacher, that's all.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, is it Premier League appearances I've got to get?
Everything.
No, just
All appearances.
club appearances. Yeah.
Whatever transfer market says for all appearances,
Mm.
even if we suspect it's wrong.
They can't be playing for him now.
No.
No.
Moving
John,
on.
I don't want to. We've actually had Man City with an 87 before, you know.
Have we?
Genuinely, yeah.
Wow.
So I just say we can't have them guesses.
I can't even remember.
I remember
Who
who
was
it was.
Who was it against? Oh, I know. I guessed actually. We recorded it in Callum's. I got Robbie Fowler.
You did, yeah.
Are we picking a different number or are we going with it?
Go with it, but just I'll say if the guess has been.
Right, okay.
To be fair, there was only I can just say you can't have Elano or Rubino as well as Robbie Fowler.
Sound.
I mean, you can have Rubino. He was miles off.
Probably me.
We're having a song of the week, Sean.
Have we got one?
What's the Traitors theme tune?
Don't know.
So we have one. Is anyone who's left what? Has anyone left one band to go to another band in
I was thinking that.
conspicuous
Have we got any
circumstances?
like musical traitors? Yeah.
Justin Timberlake leaving NSYNC.
How does that make it? How's he different to anyone else? Like
What?
Robbie Williams or
Well, the rest of NSYNC did nothing.
If he still just went, he didn't like go back and kiss his solo album CD. It's
He did,
justified
he did.
CD.
he didn't join the Backstreet Boys. I wish he would have.
What about Fleetwood Mac?
They
Yeah.
hate each other, didn't they?
They're all shagging each other, weren't they?
Hall and Oates, because they've put a restraining order against each other. Don't know which way.
Paul is Sue Notes, I think.
Could that be treachery?
Yeah, but the Fleetwood Mac's a good shout, and you could
Do
what's
Fleetwood Mac.
you can go your own way because that's written about. He wrote that about Stevie
Yeah.
Nicks, didn't he? There's a song, Sean.
Okay, so you heard it here first. The most treacherous band of all time, Fleetwood Mac. Go and listen to. Go your own way, and when you're done,
Oh,
head back
bye.
here.
Oh, bye, by NSYNC.
Yeah, or any song. Just listen to any song.
Most songs are better than this podcast usually. So
Yeah, and come back and you'll hear our answers. See you then. I'm ready to go when you are like.
I think I'm ready, but I've only really got one. I can probably guess another one off the top of my head. I'm hoping no one will say mine. Obviously.
I think I've got one.
I've got two. But again, the second one could be like 450 out or something. So hoping.
How about you, Tom? Have you got one?
Yeah, I've got a few.
Yeah. Bob?
I've got one. I'm trying to think of the second one in case someone pinches it.
Okay. Right, we'll move on then, Bob, and then you can chip in. Right. I think we're all ready then. Let's reveal our answers. Any takers on going first?
I'll go first. He's only thought of one. I was trying to think of how long that they would have been at the club to get such a short number. I think with City, possibly 2, 3, depending on sort of the period. Obviously, you mentioned that we'd had a similar number before with City, and the types of players that were sort of mentioned then. So I tried to think of that era, the same as like Alano and Rubino, sort of to go back to that time. And I think this guy was that time. I'm not sure of his first name, but was it Petrov?
Martin
Petrov, was he around that era, I think?
Yeah,
Around
definitely.
that sort of Mark Hughes era where he probably was there for 2 or 3 seasons. Then when he got the next bit of money, they got better players. Then he's sort of that period of Alano and Rubino and that where those players seem to stay for just a couple of seasons. Then they got kind of that second cash injection then from Dubai. So yeah, I'm hoping he would have been there for only a couple of seasons. And he seems to be a player who's quite good, I think.
Yeah,
Wasn't he?
I reckon he might be more him, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of went on the period of that. Like, I'm hoping he would have just been there for like 3 seasons max.
I think that's a reasonable guess. I don't think he was there an awful long time. Like, yeah.
So inspired by the Rubino and Alano shouts, but yeah, see where we go.
Shall I go next?
Yeah, if you want.
Yeah, I also struggle with Callum. I think last time we had Newcastle, I really couldn't guess. So I've gone down City for both. I cut out then, no?
Yep.
Sorry, I'm going to anyway. I didn't say anything useful anyway. I'm going to go for someone who played for both, but I'm going to choose his Man City days. Again, someone who they signed early on and then sort of replaced quite quickly. So I'm going to go Shay Given. Again, in my head, he was there for maybe 2, maybe 3 seasons, and maybe there as a bit of a backup when Joe Hart came in properly. I know he went to Villa, so I've always guessed, and I'd guess he was on the lower side rather than above it. I had a couple of others. I won't say them in case anyone's got it. I'll mention afterwards. But yeah, I was struggling, to be honest, at the low numbers. I always find difficult. So yeah, I'm going to go with Shay Given for his Man City appearances, not his Newcastle ones.
Yeah, he'd probably have a few more for Newcastle, wouldn't he?
I would guess so.
Right, Tom, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I was going to go for Haman and just try and blag it so that you could go for both clubs, but nah, I'm not going to do that. I've got a few. I'm going to go with David Ginola.
Ooh.
I think he was there about 3 years and he didn't play his full 3rd year, I don't think. But he might have left after 2 years, I can't remember. He was definitely in 95, 96 and he definitely was at Tottenham in 98, 99. But it's how early he left between, I can't remember.
I had both of those. I had Haman and Ginola down as well. So, but I wasn't going to go with them.
Ginola feels like he should be longer, but by that logic, sounds very good. In my head, it felt like he would have played like 100 times. But again, yeah, he wasn't probably there that long, was he? He was at Tottenham quite early on. So
they didn't do well in the cups then. They were like,
yeah,
I think they're in Europe in 97, 98.
I don't think Newcastle have ever done well in the cups, have they? To be fair,
Yeah.
that's a good shout there. I think could be a good one.
Right, go on. I'll go next then. And I've written quite a few players down. Again, quite a few of them have played for both teams. But I'm sticking with the theme today. Even though I think it'll be low. I think I'm too low. I'm going to go with Michael Owen. Just because
He probably missed 87 games through injury, didn't he?
That's what I mean.
One
I think
season.
he's only there 3 years and he was out loads. But I think I'll be too low. But I don't know if I can have a full episode of Michael Owen just before he sues us. I think it'll be I think it'd be great, and he might not sue us if I win with his answer. So be worth it.
Probably be on next
in
week.
my experience, getting sued is very good for a podcast.
That's true. Come on, Bob.
I had a couple of people that had been mentioned earlier on in the episode as well. I'm going to go for a player that played for both, and as we were talking about some awful people in football, I'm going to go for possibly the biggest gobshite in football at the moment, Joey Barton, and specified for Newcastle.
I was thinking him, but I thought he seemed like he was there a while. He did cross my mind as well.
He came through at City, didn't he? And I assume he was there for a fairly long time. So I'm guessing he made more appearances for them.
Yeah, I think it's not bad. Who were your other ones, Sean? Just Callum's getting the answers. Who were your other thinking?
I was thinking Sylvain Distin for Newcastle, but I don't think he played that much.
I think he was only on loan.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And I also had Andy Cole. I didn't know how long Andy Cole was there.
He was there a while, and it was when they had the longest seasons. I think he was in the old Division 2 for him.
Oh, was he? Yeah.
Yeah,
he played for City too, didn't
Premier League seasons as well.
Oh,
do you know what? City might have been a better shout for them.
Yeah, that's who I thought you were talking. Why you were mentioning it?
Probably wouldn't be close, would it? But
yeah,
I don't think that would be a Nuno Valente guess.
I thought Asprilia maybe. He was there for about 3 years, and then Les Ferdinand was around the same time.
I'm just checking. I'm not having this. I've just checked Andy Cole at Newcastle.
What was
84.
Oh.
No. That's probably his goals, isn't it?
It isn't. He was only there 2 years.
Was he?
Yeah.
As I say, it was longer seasons, wasn't it?
3 years, yeah.
He was my first thought, and I dismissed it straight away. He never got in England cap. He scored all those goals for Newcastle, and he didn't get capped to play for United.
Yeah, that's
really. His first 4 caps were for 4 different managers.
Oh, is that true? Yeah.
Yeah, a bit trivia for you there.
There's someone else like that, wasn't there? There was someone recently, I think.
Yeah.
I'm going to put not so good at trivia, is it, Tosh? Someone else did that. take that the pub quiz.
My other one, just in case it was right, was I was thinking that Fernando who played for City. Was the Barton one for Newcastle, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, I think the results are in. Let me just give me 30 seconds, just check the distance out. Okay, then, results are in. So we'll do as usual. We'll go from last to first. Remember, the week we have a guest on, the person in last gets 0 points to add to the leaderboard. So in all reasonable guesses, all within 20 again. Again, doing ourselves for no favours for all the people who say we cheat. So in 5th position with 69 appearances.
Way.
So 18 out was Shay Given. So that was myself. So 0 points for me this week. After getting 0 last time for not being asked the question. Won't keep mentioning that though. In 4th position with 72. So 15 out. And getting 1 point was Martin Petrov. So Callum in 4th position. So the top 3 in 3rd with 76 appearances. So 11 out was David Ginola. So Tom. Unlucky.
I'll start out with Jamie and his guess, because that's really what
yeah. So you're the second best player on your Chris podcast anyway, you can say that. And then so the top 2 both within 10. We've got someone 8 out and someone 3 out. So 79, 84 appearances. With 79 appearances was Michael Owen. So Sean was 8 out, which means this week's winner's Bob. With Joey Barton, 84 appearances, only 3 out. Great guess.
Shout out.
Terrible man, though.
Well, you've sold your soul a bit there, Bob. But
I have, yeah.
The top
Regret
two
it.
were both terrible
Traitor.
shouts.
I was gonna pick. I was gonna pick a women's football as well, Bob, but I didn't because you said Barnum. So
Time now then to look at our latest league table. Bob is flying at the top now with 57 points. Callum somehow snuck into second. He's now on 51. Tosh has slumped down into third on 50. And Sean remains bottom of the four on 43 points. Our guests in total have amassed 14 points, which isn't too bad considering. So that's another win for Bob, who is picking up quite a few of these recently. Some say cheating, but we'll soon see.
Others say knowledge.
Yeah,
good
could be
ball
that.
knowledge.
I wouldn't know. We've also had arguably our most entertaining Marooned 5, I'd say. Because even though we had 5 nominations, we ended up going off on untold tangents about random players, and it was great. So, a very successful podcast. I'd just like to thank Deadman Tom for joining us this week and for being a big supporter of the podcast by retweeting us and things like that. The crisp sessions are, well, we've got a lot. We owe them a lot. Let's just say that they've been very good at promoting the podcast, and hopefully to our very limited followers, they might get the same from us. I will say as well, I tweeted last week or so saying that one of the bonus episodes that was released was the funniest podcast I've ever heard. If you've not listened to it, genuinely go and listen to it. It was absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, the
great.
Tarragon Files.
Yeah, it was honestly unbelievable.
It's maybe the most I've ever laughed in my whole life. That is, if you only watch one episode of the Chris Sessions, make sure it's the Tarragon Files. It's so ridiculously stupid.
I can't imagine what that was like in person, because like when you're just listening to it, it's unbelievable. Like when you were in the moment, it must have just been like.
So what happens is we record 2 in one session. So we recorded 1, and Jamie messaged his girlfriend Lauren and said, "We've just recorded the stupidest podcast that anyone's ever made." And then after we finished, he messaged again saying, "We beat it." It was so stupid. It was basically, for anyone who doesn't know, it was, we made a detective show where everyone's name was based on spices. And it got very out of hand. We actually want to make it into a sketch or maybe like a pilot or something eventually. But it was very, 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 very stupid.
Yeah, it was one of them where you think our podcast is fairly structured. We don't do much prep, but it's fairly structured. But when you just think like you two had no structure there, did you? It was just like
our whole structure for the whole show is I buy a different bag of crisps every week, and then we think of something that we're a bit obsessed with. But now we're running out of crisps and we're running out of things we're obsessed with. So
you just make up TV detective shows.
So for the bonus ones, then we started going into things that we don't like, so that we hate, that we're obsessed with, that we hate, and it's a stupid podcast, but
yeah,
we seem to like it.
So listen to this one and then listen to a better one and go and listen to that. That's my advice. Don't do it the other way around, or you'll be disappointed. But yeah, thanks again, Tom. It was been great.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been good.
Thanks, Tom.
And see you next week.